Some horror stories stay with you long after the screen fades to black. They crawl under your skin. They make you second-guess what you saw out of the corner of your eye. And they whisper to you in the dark when you're supposed to be alone. Tonight, I'll be sharing 5 terrifying stories, each one darker than the last. And all of them come from people who thought what they were experiencing was just their imagination. But as you'll soon hear, the truth is far worse. So put on your headphones, turn off the lights, and remember, some stories aren't told, they're unleashed. Would you stay alone in a dorm building during finals week? Would you ignore the knock? Would you turn on the light? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, you know what to do. Eric lived alone in a 1-bedroom apartment near the city center. Nothing fancy, just old hardwood floors, thin walls, and a tiny kitchen with a single window. He just moved in 3 weeks ago. It was the perfect place to disappear for a while. After a messy breakup, Eric needed silence. No roommates, no noise, just himself and the soft hum of city life outside. But then, one night, something changed. It started at exactly 2:42 a.m. Eric had fallen asleep on the couch with the TV on. The blue light flickered across his face as he drifted in and out of dreams. But something woke him. A soft clink, like glass tapping lightly. He opened his eyes, heart already thumping. Nothing seemed off, until he noticed the curtain. The single curtain that hung in front of his kitchen window. It was moving, just slightly, as if someone had brushed past it. He stared. Then, without moving from the couch, he whispered to himself, "It's just the breeze," except the window was shut, locked, and he didn't have the fan on. Still, he got up, pulled the curtain aside. Nothing there, no one. The next night, it happened again. 2:42 a.m. Clink. This time, Eric stood completely still on the couch. He didn't look toward the kitchen, didn't even breathe. He just listened. There it was again, clink, like the corner of a glass or a fingernail tapping the windowsill. He counted to 10, then walked to the curtain, pulled it open. Nothing. Except there was a smudge on the inside of the glass. A fingerprint, small, too small for his hand. He didn't sleep that night. By the third night, Eric had a plan. He placed his phone on a shelf angled at the kitchen window. He hit record, left the lights off, and went to bed early. He woke up at 3 a.m. in a cold sweat. Checked the footage. At 2:42 a.m., the curtain began to move. But this time, the phone caught it. Something had pushed the curtain from behind, but not from inside the room. From inside the glass. There was a face, barely visible, just pale skin, hollow eyes, and long black hair pressed to the window from the inside, as if the girl was between the window panes. Eric froze. The footage blurred as the camera tried to focus. The face stayed for a full 12 seconds, then vanished. He called building security. They checked everything. No hidden crawl spaces, no gaps in the wall, just a normal old window. But every night after that, at exactly 2:42 a.m., the curtain moved, and the tapping returned. Eric moved out a week later. When the new tenant moved in, she posted something strange on a local forum. "Hey, does anyone know why there's a child's handprint on the inside of the kitchen window?" Rachel was a junior in college, renting a cheap off-campus house with 2 friends. The house was old, paint peeling from the walls, creaky floors, a basement no one wanted to use. But it was cheap, and the lease was short. Their landlord had warned them about one thing. Don't open the crawlspace door in the upstairs hallway. It's sealed for a reason. That door was strange, half the size of a normal one. Painted shut, screwed in place. They laughed it off, urban legends, landlords being dramatic. But on their 4th week there, things started to go wrong. Rachel would wake up to the sound of dragging across the ceiling. Heavy, scraping movements, like someone crawling on elbows and knees. Her friends heard it too. They blamed raccoons, rats, maybe even squirrels. But Rachel noticed something they didn't. Every time she heard the dragging, her closet door would swing open. Just a few inches, enough to hear the soft click of the latch giving in. Then one night, something new happened. She was brushing her teeth alone in the hallway bathroom when she heard a thud behind her. She turned. The crawl space door, the one that had been sealed shut, was now slightly open. Not much, just enough to show a slice of pitch black inside. She froze, foam still in her mouth, heart hammering. Then came the whisper. Not from the crawl space, from the bathroom vent. A man's voice, raspy, hoarse, like it hadn't spoken in years. "I like the quiet ones." Rachel screamed and slammed the door. Her roommates came running. She showed them the crawl space. It was closed again. The screws were still in place. They thought she was sleep-deprived, stressed, until 3 nights later, her roommate Jenna saw something too. She was getting water at 2 a.m. and heard breathing, slow, wet, rattling, from the ceiling vent in the kitchen. She stood still, listening. And then, she saw it. Fingers. 4 pale fingers curling down from the attic hatch above the fridge, gripping the edge. Someone was holding themselves up, silently watching her. She screamed and the fingers vanished. They called the landlord the next day. This time he confessed. There was a man who lived in the walls of that house 30 years ago. He escaped from a facility nearby and hid there for weeks before anyone noticed. They found a nest in the crawl space, food wrappers, clothing, even notebooks. He was obsessed with the tenants, wrote about them, watched them sleep. Rachel moved out the next morning. She still wakes up at 3 a.m. sometimes, convinced someone is watching her from inside the vents. There's a stretch of highway in northern Arizona where cell service dies and the sky feels too big. Maya was driving home from a weekend trip, alone, after her friends decided to stay an extra night. It was nearly 1 a.m., no cars, just stars, silence, and the occasional shape of mountains in the distance. Then she saw it, a school bus, parked on the side of the road, its headlights off, no hazards, just still. As she passed it, she slowed down, not because she wanted to. Something in her body just told her to. The bus looked old, the paint was faded, the windows were completely blacked out, except the very last one. That one had a face in it, pale, expressionless, eyes wide open. Maya shivered, pressed the gas pedal harder, and drove off. But 20 minutes later, there it was again, the same bus, parked on the side of the road. This time, the headlights were on. It hadn't passed her, no turns, no exits. It was just there. She slammed the brakes, confused and terrified. Had she circled back? She checked her GPS. Nope, still going forward. As she drove past the second time, she stared harder. Inside the bus were people. At least a dozen, but they weren't moving. Each person sat perfectly straight in their seats, hands on their laps, eyes forward, like dolls. And then she saw the driver, or what was left of him. His head was turned completely around, staring directly at her as she passed. His mouth was wide open, but unmoving. She screamed, pressed the pedal down, and didn't look back. 5 minutes later, another bus, the same one. It pulled up behind her, headlights on this time, bright and blinding in her rearview mirror. She sped up, 60, 70, 85 miles per hour. The bus kept pace, smooth, silent. It never got closer, never fell behind, just stayed with her. Until a tunnel. She didn't remember seeing it on the map, but she drove into it, desperate to lose the thing behind her. Pitch black, no lights inside the tunnel, no signs. She emerged on the other side, and the bus was gone. Just gone. When she got home, she checked news archives. What she found made her stomach turn. In 1973, a school bus disappeared on that highway. 16 students, 1 driver, never found. Locals say the bus still appears to lone travelers late at night, especially those who drive that road alone. Maya never drives at night anymore, because sometimes she still dreams of it. The headlights, the staring children, and the sound of something knocking from inside her trunk. On the top floor of Beckley Hall, there's a room that no one stays in. It's not on the roster, it's not listed on the floor map, but it's there, room 606. Tyrell was a junior, transferred mid-semester and assigned to a dorm room that, according to the RA, shouldn't exist. Must be a computer error, she said. Just ignore the number on the door. He didn't think much of it. It was a private room, spacious, clean. He figured he got lucky, until the third night. That's when he started hearing breathing. It came from behind the wall at the head of his bed. Slow, wet, labored, almost like someone was trying not to breathe too loud. He put his ear to the wall and it stopped. He thought maybe the plumbing was old, maybe the neighbor had sleep apnea. But when he checked the room on the other side, it was a janitor's closet, unused, empty, dusty. He asked the building manager about the noise. They went pale and said, "No one's reported anything in that room for years." Tyrell went back to his room and checked the walls again. This time, he noticed something strange. A faint outline on the far wall, like a sealed door, painted over and patched badly. He tapped on it. It echoed, hollow. He took a picture, zoomed in. There were scratch marks around the edge. Tiny ones, like fingernails. That night, he didn't sleep. Narrator quieter, escalating tension. The next day, he got locked out of his room. His keycard stopped working. The RA said, "Your card was deactivated. That room isn't listed under your name anymore." He showed her the housing email. She checked the system. His assignment had changed to a different dorm, different building, but no one had told him. When he asked what happened to 606, she frowned. "There is no 606 in Beckley Hall. That wing was sealed off after something happened years ago." Tyrell asked for details. She refused, just told him to get his things and leave. He went back to the room. This time he noticed something new. The window was open. He never opened the window. There was no wind. On the desk was a Polaroid photo that hadn't been there before. In it, his bed. And someone was lying in it. Not him. Something, black, human-shaped, curled, smiling. The picture was dated 1993. He turned around. The sealed door on the far wall was cracked open, just a sliver. From inside he heard, "I've been so quiet. Are you finally going to let me in?" Narrator slow, whispering. Tyrell ran. He never went back. But Beckley Hall remains. And on the 6th floor, the hallway skips from 604 to 608. There is no door between them. But sometimes, when it's quiet, you'll see a gap between the vents, like a frame that was painted over. And sometimes, a face watching you from inside it, smiling, breathing. Dylan was starting his freshman year and got placed with a random roommate, Sam. Sam was quiet, clean, polite, almost too polite. On move-in day, he handed Dylan a typed paper. At the top, bolded, "Roommate agreement for a peaceful coexistence." It had normal things, lights out at 11, shared fridge space, alternating trash duty. But some of it was strange. "Do not knock on the closet door after 1:33 a.m. If I am sleep-talking, do not respond, no matter what I say. If I am missing for more than 3 hours, do not call the police. Wait for me to return. If the room smells like burned paper, open all windows and wait outside. If you wake up to humming from under your bed, pretend to sleep." Dylan thought it was a joke. Sam didn't laugh. He just said, "If you follow the rules, we'll get along fine." For the first 2 weeks, nothing happened. Sam was quiet, sometimes gone for long hours, sometimes staring too long at the corner of the ceiling. One night, Dylan woke up to whispers. He turned toward Sam's bed. It was empty. The closet door was slightly open, and from inside he heard Sam's voice. I didn't tell him you were real." Followed by another voice, low, guttural, but imitating Sam's tone. "You're breaking the rules, Sam. You know what happens." Then silence. The door slammed shut. Dylan didn't sleep. The next morning, Sam acted like nothing happened, just smiled and asked, "You slept okay?" That day, Dylan checked with housing. There was no record of a Sam assigned to his room. In fact, the system said he was in the room alone. He checked old rosters, yearbooks. No Sam. That night, Dylan tried to confront him. "Who are you?" Sam just smiled. "That's not in the agreement." He reached into his drawer and handed Dylan a new copy of the contract. It had one addition. "If you learn my real name, you must leave before midnight, or it will learn yours." Dylan packed. He started sleeping in the library. But one night, during finals week, he got an alert. Motion detected in his dorm room. He opened the live feed. Sam was sitting on his bed, facing the camera, smiling. Then someone else crawled out from under Dylan's empty bed. Pale, tall, wrong. And it whispered, "He broke the rules." The feed went dark. Security checked. The room was empty, untouched. No record of Sam. No trace of Dylan's belongings. But sometimes, when new students get placed in that room, they find a typed contract on the desk. And if they don't sign it, they don't last long enough to move in. Thanks for listening to Nightless Nocturne. If you want more real horror stories, more things that should have stayed hidden, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget, leave a light on tonight. You might not be as alone as you think.